Yes.
What they should have done from jump is have this be a very controlled platform where it was like the forced mingling just did not like there needed to be forced mingling. Instead, it was like, who do you think you like? And so you'd have like three people being like, well, I think I like this person because they're like my type or whatever. And so they're not getting to know each other. Like there's nothing, not that you need to do speed dating, but there should have been relational time set up that was like forcing you to go around and talk to everyone because that's also just practice. Because part of what happens with dating experience is that you meet different personalities and see what you like. And so if you've never done it, how do you know? You're just going off of like attraction and guesses. And so the fact that they did not do more show designed interrelational building and let them go into a space where it was like, well, we've set you up. You've your hair's a different, like your hair's more attractive and you're in a more stylish shirt. And like now it's all on you.
Yeah,
That
and
just felt,
you had like an hour of therapy. Just
yeah, an hour of
Right.
on
One
camera therapy.
right.
on camera therapy.
Was it even an hour of therapy, or was it just what we saw on camera, right?
This year I chaired like a professional staff engagement committee in my team. So we had not a very big team, but like 50, 60 people, and we would come together for events. And something I would think about is we have all types of people in this. We have introverts, we have extroverts, we have neurotypical, we have neurodivergent, like we have a gamut. And you've got to create a social event that's going to meet the needs of many. And you're not going to you're going to have to just like kind of punt it in the middle somewhere because you're just not going to get it perfect. But two things we did every time that mattered were we had things to do. So we had doing things. So you could make a bracelet, you could paint something, you could paint a rock, you can do a sticker, just something to do to engage. And then we also would provide conversation cards to everything. And we would just
Mm.
buy card decks and have it be like somewhere like more philosophical, somewhere funny, but it was just a way to like kind of work through a card deck. So you would sit down because I love talking to people. I hate small talk. And so if I'm going to talk, but it's very awkward to sit down and be like, so tell me your thoughts on, I mean, I'm just trying to pick something like what would be the three things you would like to accomplish at the end of the year? Or tell me about a time that you tried something you were afraid of and what was the result? And so having tools that you can kind of just start to like get through the layers more quickly. And maybe it would have been like with Jungmook, where it's like all of a sudden I'm talking to someone and I'm like, hey, we're actually having a very comfortable conversation. What does that mean? Versus this other person, I'm not having any kind of give or take. Or I'm noticing with one of our gentlemen, they're just only going to want to talk about themselves. They're not going to ask me any questions. I don't really like that. Like I'm here too, and they're just here to pontificate.
Yeah. Yeah, there was no structure. And I think that was my biggest beef. There was no good structure to this. Um, I still don't understand, like the letters weren't necessarily a great idea because like the letters in the mailboxes I feel like just ended up really fizzling and not being that effective. Same with the diaries,
I
the
was just gonna say,
diary
what do you think
room.
about the 5 minute library?
I'm also not I don't also don't think that helped because you're not interacting with them. You're like
Yeah.
reading a book and also you have these people that are fixated on one person.
I was gonna say it helped enforce their tunnel vision because
It
they would
did.
just yeah.
It was so frustrating to watch the show just basically let these people down. I really was shocked that the Cupids were just completely separated. I actually thought that the Cupids were going to be involved the entire way through. This was only 7 days. Like,
9. 9
oh,
days.
9 days. Okay, it was only 9
Yeah.
days. And they never brought in a person to the only person they brought in to help was a lady who read tarot. And like, look, I am not going to knock tarot. I love tarot. They needed more than tarot. Okay? They needed a life coach to come in and talk to them. And just giving this like open-ended thing where they could pick their dates. And even their dates were like they even then it was like very loose activities. I felt like I watched a lot of these people just sit with a drink in front of them. Um, we were kind of talking a little bit with each other before this about how cool this would have been, I think, is if it would have been structured the entire time to give them basically practice at dating. So you would have had like, coaches the entire time, and you would have had the settings that would have taught them how to maybe how to plan a date. Okay, how do you plan a date? Let's sit down and plan a date. And then the singles would almost like practice with each other on how to do these things. Okay. And if a relationship formed, fine. But I don't think that the goal of Better Late Than Single should have ever been having final couples. I don't think that
Yes.
that bottom line that should never have been the final goal, the final setup, because especially these people, they almost like, I think they were panicking that they were like, this is my last chance to meet someone. And like, no, it's not. They should have just given them
This is a week
this,
of your life. Like,
this is a week of your life where we're going to have you're going to practice how to date. This is 9 days. You're going to practice how to date. And if they formed natural relationships and maybe even romantic relationships through that would have been great. And they the showrunners could have pivoted but I think setting it up the way it was, which was just a modified version of Singles Inferno, was a giant fail. And I'm sorry to say that to the showrunners, because I'm sure that they didn't realize it was going to be like this. I think they underestimated that these are real people.
Or
Honestly.
and overestimated what their abilities could be.
They overestimated, and I think because even the hosts were like, "Can we show this? Can we air this? This is," because I would say when they had No Jae-yun crying in the shower,
ugh.
I was like, "No, this is starting to feel very terrible."
like trauma porn.
I feel
He's
exactly.
wearing Jungkook's sunglasses.
He's wearing
at
sunglasses because his
night.
eyes are so swollen. He's traumatized. He does not know how to deal with the situation. He needs actual guidance, which maybe if he was home, he would have gotten from like family or friends. Instead, he's in this isolated situation where he's alone, and you're just throwing him into reeds. I mean, I got to talk about the dirty elbows, because when he
Yes.
hid, because two of the women were kind of talking about him, and he hid because he didn't want them to
Like
know he was like
dove to the ground.
dove to the ground. And when he stood up with dirty elbows and walked away, it was at that moment where I think I messaged you guys. I said, I don't think I can keep watching. The dirty elbows have put me over the edge, because I just started to feel like this is hurting more than helping. And then it started to feel sick.
So I want to jump in because I agree with everything that you're saying. And I want to jump in it with, again, like a higher education hat on, because as I was watching this, it made me think a lot about something that gets talked about, which is it's experiential learning theory. And so in an experiential learning cycle, so what is experiential learning? It's learning by doing. It just means you're learning by experience. And rather than just kind of like passively absorbing information, like sitting down and having a coffee with your celebrity mentor who's like, when you see girls, be smooth, or whatever the advice is, you're going to learn by doing. And there's 4 parts of the cycle. Hire me, Better Late Than Single, to come in and help you with experiential learning cycles. Because the first thing you do is there's the concrete experience, which is there's this stage where you, as a learner or as an eternal single on the show, are going to try something. You're going to try something that is new, or you're going to try something that you've had experience doing in the past. You're going to either do like a concept that you know already, or you're going to try something new. That's step 1. Then step 2, we already fail on this immediately in the show, is we reflect. So you do the thing, and then you sit down and you're like, how did that thing go? How did that feel for me? What was that experience like? What would I do differently? What would I do better? What would I try this time? Then you do something different, which is internal. After you've reflected, you're like, okay, I'm creating new ideas. I'm modifying concepts I have. So I may think that when I see a pretty girl and I'm attracted to her, that means she should be my girlfriend. But when I talk to that pretty girl and we didn't have a vibe, I've now learned, through my reflection, I've now had this now there's like a modification that's happening. That's like my physical attraction may not always match with like the chemistry I have for like an actual relationship. And then you do the 4th most important part. Well, not most, they're all important, which is active experimentation. You go back into a situation and you try it with that new lens. And so this time you're going to try your date or whatever it's going to be. And you're going to have been able to reflect. Somebody's talked to you through the reflection. You're going to have sat with yourself and been like, what new ideas am I forming? I'm trying it again. And I'm just going to keep going through these cycles of learning, and people are going to guide me on it. And I'm going to kind of like have an evolution of self because I'm trying things, reflecting on them, growing as a person, trying them again, because all learning is cyclical. We're just like, go
on an
even
overnight
worse.
date. Instead, they put them on an overnight date.
We have some people that don't get to do anything. You get to sit somewhere having no experience, having not been somebody who has had dating experience. No one's chosen you. Good night. Your time is done. Good night for you. You got nothing from this. No one chose you.
You
Then
got nothing.
Then we get one other person who's like, everyone's like, I like you. I think I like you. I think I like you. We've got Jungkook, who's got like 4 ladies who think they like him. And so, okay. And I'm not saying that they can't all like them, but have they learned anything by liking them? What they've learned to do is nothing. They like that, like that's not a helpful, especially for unexperienced people. Like you got nothing out of that, especially if you were one of the people he didn't really like back and he didn't even really want to engage with you. All it did was make you feel like you made a friend because you could have commiseration over the fact that like he didn't like the two of you. And you
But they
could
didn't
sit-
try to talk to any other men. Like
No.
it was Jungkook or nothing.
And you don't need to be talking to these men like this is going to be a new partner for you.
Right.
You get to do it through like they should have been framed as like, it's fine. Like if you're not that interested, that's almost in some ways better.
Yeah, just have them like practice dating with each other. And instead they fixated on who they thought they could like leave the show with in a relationship, which I was like, that's not even realistic.
9
Um,
days. Like
in
9
9
days.
days.
Nobody's going to find their soulmate in 9 days.
Oh.
I mean,
Okay.
sometimes
You could, but nobody did. Nobody on the show did.
Nobody did because they needed more experience. I think none of
They
none of
don't know how
these
to
people-
connect.
yeah, none of these people were finding their soulmate in 9 days.